Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, this village has a curse, a haunting curse that is inflicting this poor family, and this businessman is going to find out exactly what it is. Tonight's movie, The Night of the Devils.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another year of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Yes, year number 13. Yes, year number 13. Who would have imagined 13 years ago, my old channel where I was just struggling to figure out what the hell I was doing, decided, hey, I'm going to challenge myself by making one video a night for 31 straight nights during the October month in celebration of Halloween. And honestly, I just no idea what I was doing. Just came up with ideas on the fly. And it was basically, horror theme, fall theme, October theme, Halloween theme. And lo and behold, 13 years later, I'm still doing it in a sense, and man, I'm curious if anyone's still watching at this point. How long have you been with me during this journey? I mean, tell me how many years, how many seasons of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror have you been here for? I doubt there's anyone from the beginning. I mean, that's just all those videos are lost. And anyways, so in honor of year number 13, I decided that we should call this year's festivities Triskaidekaphilia. Yes, because Triskaidekaphobia, of course, is the fear of the number 13. So Triskaidekaphilia is the love of the number 13. And oh man, I do love the number 13. And speaking of things I love, tonight's movie, we are kicking off this year with a movie that I really, really love, and that is The Night of the Demons. Oh, it's Demons, my gosh, that's a different movie altogether. The Night of the Devils. Though I did review The Night of the Demons if you want to. Whichever. Anyways, The Night of the Devils. La Notte dei Diavoli. Pardon my French. It's Italian, actually. So, anyways, look at that. Look at that great artwork there. Anyways, what is The Night of the Devils about? Well, it is about a man. He's a businessman, and he is traveling through the countryside, working on closing a deal. And as he's traveling through the woods, a woman jumps out in front of him. He swerves, he crashes his car, and now he needs to find the village, find some help so that he can get his car fixed or get a ride to the nearest town. And basically, he's kind of stuck. And so he happens upon a village that is practically abandoned except for one family. The family which has the elder patriarch, his recently deceased brother's wife and her kids, his two sons, and his lovely, lovely daughter. Anyways, the older son says that he can help him with his car, but unfortunately, it's getting dark and it is too dangerous to go out after sunset. So the family invites the businessman into their home, and immediately he witnesses them barricading the place like it was going to be under siege and attack from some mysterious force. I mean, they're barring up the windows, locking the doors. They got double doors and just putting up beams and stuff like that. It's very, very strange. It's like, what in the world could they possibly be so afraid of? Well, the next morning, the elder son starts helping the businessman with his car. And the father says, I am going to put an end to this curse once and for all. And of course, the elder son says, hey, if you're going to do that, if you're not back by 6, then I'm going to have to do what I have to do. And of course, the father is, don't worry. I'm going to be back. And the nightmare is going to end. The curse is going to end. Of course, the businessman's going like, what's going on? I'm not sure what it is. And so, of course, as the day goes by, the hour becomes later. The father, the patriarch, he's not showing up. And honestly, I don't want to tell you anymore, because what happens is a series of events and strangeness that kind of pits the old supernatural rural world versus the modern, sophisticated, unsupernatural believing city folk, and a position of just like strange, what the heck is going on? What is this curse? What is this entity? And honestly, I really like it a lot, and I don't want to give much away, so let me just kind of end the synopsis there, because I want you guys to find this movie and watch it, because I think you're going to really enjoy it. So let's get to those scores, shall we? Violence and gore, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. We do get some dismemberment, some nice face melting going on, but overall pretty tame. I mean, it's not like your balls to the wall gore fest from the 70s. It's a little, it pulls up its punches a little bit, but still a decent amount. 2 out of 5. Shock value, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5, and honestly, the shock is kind of like with the ending, the entity, the thing, the curse, whatever, what it does to the family. And so, while not like just jump scares abound and super shocks and twists, it still has a decent score of 2 out of 5. And even though I kind of figured out what was going to happen in the end, it was still very fitting, and it didn't really ruin the movie, the fact that I figured it out. And I think a lot of people probably will see the ending coming, but it still has its impact. Anyways, moving on from shock value, we're going to plot, and this is a 4 out of 5. Now, apparently this is based on a Tolstoy story of the Wurdeluk, and I think this is really where I like this movie. It kind of starts off at the present. You get the flashbacks in the past, so you sort of figured out, like, what the hell is this guy so scared of? What the heck happened? And then you get the story of what happens in the village with the family, and you get the grow moments of some of the family members to set up an interesting dynamic, so that you kind of have emotions and care for these people. And then you have the situation, and the situation's so interesting, and I find it to be quite unique, and I just like it. I just want more exploration in this sort of thing, because the hook, it's a monster, a being, a curse that is, I think, pretty unique in horror. Most of the time, it's things that are lusting for blood, lusting for death, and this is different. This is a different type of motivation. And sure, it just sort of scratches the surface with it, but in a short, compressed film, I think it does a great job, and I really like it. 4 out of 5. Moving on to acting, I'm also going to give this a 4 out of 5. I really enjoy the performance of the businessman, the patriarch, the sort of, I don't know how to say, rebellious older son, but he's got that mentality that, like, the old man's kind of foolish, and I know what's best. And of course the lovely daughter, who kind of gets smitten with the outsider, the businessman. Maybe he can take her away from all this kind of backwards. There's all those dynamics, and I think those characters are done well and acted well. And so I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Moving on to Nudity, and I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. only a few scenes, but one's pretty graphic. Otherwise, I'd say it's pretty standard amount for the time and the subject matter. It's definitely seen movies that have ton more stuff going on. But still, there's a lot of movie that just has absolutely nothing. So I figured 2.5 out of 5 feels right. There's some quality as opposed to quantity there. So there you have it. Moving on to enjoyment factor, I am going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoy this movie. It was interesting. It seized my mind and just grabbed me from the get-go, trying to figure out what's going on. And when we kind of find out what's going on, it's just a very interesting premise. And I would love to see more. I would love to see other takes on this. I would love to see maybe even more expanded. I mean, perhaps like even kind of like a mini series, because I think there's a lot to explore with this type of situation. But in the end, really, really great, entertaining movie. Sure, there's some slow spots, and I maybe want there to be a bit more gore in there, but overall, very enjoyable. Watch it over and over again. I think it's really great. 4.5 out of 5. Moving on to overall impression, and I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's a classic. I think this is a classic. I think this should be a movie that horror fans around the world should watch and have in their collections, because I think it's a story that's universal, and is a story that's intriguing, and it does set groundwork for a lot of other horror movies. And I just think it's really good. It's just really good. It's a really good movie. So 4.5 out of 5. And that averages out to a 3.4 out of 5, which is pretty dang good. And yeah, I know Gorehounds probably would go like, it needs more gore, and Sleazehounds will go, it needs more nudity. And, millennials and the youngins will go, there's not enough action, and it's so old. Why does it have a cell phone? All that aside, you just put yourself in that world and get lost in the story and the ideas of the story, because I think those transcend the time and space and makes up for perhaps things that are lacking, So there you have it, The Night of the Devils. And please tell me what you think in the comment section below. Have you seen The Night of the Devils? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you want to watch it, man? Go ahead, pick it up. I don't know. It still should be on Kino Lorber's site. Anyways, so there we go. The end of episode 1, night 1 of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And thank you all for your support and watching these videos. Not only this year, but the years past, and who knows, maybe years in the future. And I just really appreciate any views and comments, because honestly, this is what I want to do. I want to talk about horror movies. Not just horror movies. I want to talk about movies in general, but I just want to talk. I want to share my love, and hopefully you're like, I've never seen The Night of the Devils, but now I'm going to check it out, because that's great. Share the love. Spread the disease, right? Yeah. Become one of us. Anyways, so thank you again for watching another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And remember to stay scary, everyone. And also, when you're driving in the middle of the woods, just slow down. Just slow down, because let's face it, not that a mysterious woman is going to be jumping in front of your car all the time, but you're in the woods. There are deer, there are other kinds of animals out there. And if you're just going fast, you're just whipping around, you're not going to really have a lot of time, and you could be in a serious world of shit if you crash. So slow down, take your time. Enjoy the scenery, don't end up dying or worse. Anyways, yeah.